What this is the last Sunday of every month. We have the big call-in episodes. If you support us at the $20 tier, you can call in and podcast with us about whatever you want. That's the last Sunday of every month, but you can jump up to that tier whenever you want. We appreciate it. Anyways, Jacob, what's going on? What do you want to talk about?
So I have kind of I don't know if inside baseball is the right term, but it's kind
Love
of an industry question in general. It's a bit of a larger question. The kind of trend the past few years, I feel like, of us seeing game development budgets and times kind of inflate.
Yeah.
It's not new or anything, but I feel like, it's just kind of a discussion I wanted to throw out there of where do we think this is going to go in maybe the next 10 years as we see budgets balloon for AAA games go well over like the $200 million mark on the regular basis.
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm not too distracted. I'm just pulling up a breakdown of, let's look at GTA releases. We got, 1997 GTA 1, 1999 GTA 2, 2001 GTA 3, 2002 Vice City. That's 1 year. Then 2004 San Andreas, 4 years then for Grand Theft Auto 4. Then, according to my math, 5 years for Grand Theft Auto 5. And now we're going on 8 years since Grand Theft Auto 5.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
It freaks me out a lot. Yeah, I always think about, like, how is that possible? Even stuff like, the Crash Bandicoot series. It's like, they've made those every year. And the answer is, they were killing themselves. And Naughty Dog was not a good place to work mentally, right? And you just burn people out left and right. But in terms of where we're going, I wish I could be more optimistic. And so you kind of look at how big publishers are messaging things so far, and it seems like one of the big indicators of where we're going, other than just, looking at a publisher like Sony and kind of very clearly seeing the budget and the scale and the pressure increasing, is somebody like Ubisoft, who is doubling down on Assassin's Creed with, that game that was leaked and then kind of sort of whisper announced, which was Assassin's Creed Infinity. I think that was the code name for it.
Yeah.
Which is an even bigger version of Assassin's Creed. And I look at stuff like Far Cry 6 and it's like, I don't know where they go. It's just, there's so much crap in there.
Well, they pack them tight, and it's like people talk about how, they make most of these AAA games are like 40 plus hours. And I know for an adult like myself with a full-time job, it's like, I don't necessarily need a 40-hour experience. If you can give me one that's half as long, just as great.
Totally. But it's that weird thing of like, well, they have the numbers. I mean, they know that people are buying them. So if they made an Assassin's Creed, like that would take there's so much momentum, I think, with development that it would be such a wild move. And I'm trying to think of if anybody's done it, of just stopping a speeding train to be like, nope. Seriously, the next Assassin's Creed is going to be, I don't know, like a Tomb Raider 2013 equivalent. Just this is going to be a 12-hour experience. We hope you enjoy it. Single player, go. I think they would sell a lot. I mean, obviously, if it was good. But I'm trying to think of those examples of, I feel like we talked about this on the podcast not too long ago, of when publishers have been like shooting up the flare to be like, okay, stop. We're going to derail things and come up with a smaller experience. I guess the best I can come up with is, and this isn't even like developer focused, maybe something like Outer Worlds, I think was a good example of, I think that was kind of celebrated for, it's kind of like Mass Effect 1 structure again? Hell yeah. Like, give us a smaller RPG, please.
Funny you mentioned Mass Effect, if I may. There was kind of comparing how distorted the length of game dev time is. Like, so if I feel like it was a long time between Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda.
Right.
That was a 5-year gap. Felt like it had been forever.
Yeah.
But quietly, the same thing's happening with Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, when that comes out at the beginning of next year, that'll have been a 5-year gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy to think of.
But it's the norm now,
It is the norm. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to take, I mean, the one thing, obviously, the elephant in the room is Game Pass. And you see Microsoft trying to play it both ways of having a bunch of smaller games to pad things out, which is commendable. And then at the same time, I mean, I guess you look at like Halo Infinite and it's like, well, if they're really pitching this as a platform moving forward, which I don't know exactly how they've messaged it so far. I think they've said like, it's the new baseline for Halo. So it seems like they're, strangely enough, pulling a kind of Assassin's Creed Infinity early with Halo Infinite. And so they're trying to it seems like dip toes in both waters of let's just crank out a bunch of smaller titles with these studios that we've purchased just to pad out Game Pass. Let's have Double Fine releasing stuff every 2 years or whatever. And then at the same time, let's try and build up for that Sony style tentpole quad A experience like Perfect Dark, which I'm very skeptical about because I think Microsoft's track record of building up studios to do that is lacking. So yeah, I'm not feeling great about it because I think at the same time that, and this is again probably a larger conversation, but I think that added pressure on the development, the pressure of if this doesn't hit, we're effed and hundreds of people at our jobs, and we're, you know, somebody like Sony, it's like if the next Naughty Dog game is a complete flop and disaster, that's a big hit for the entire company. So I think because of that also there's kind of a tightening of interview opportunities, developer interviews, that type of stuff, which is what I really care about. And I was thinking about it today about just like, boy, it really feels like publishers have tightened the hell up when it comes to letting people talk. And I'm sure a majority of that is just going from some place with the name Game Informer that's been around since 1991 to some place with the name MinnMax where I have to explain what the hell we are every time. But still, it's definitely scary because if these budgets keep increasing, then pressure increases, then PR tightens, then we don't get to hear a single word about how this game was actually made.
Yeah, which is obviously half the fun in games for me at the very least.
Oh, absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much for calling in, and thanks for supporting MinnMax. Is there anything you want from us in the future?
Hey, you guys are doing an awesome job, and I'm excited for the Extra Life coming up.
You can help support independent games media by subscribing to MinnMax on YouTube here, or you can support us over on Patreon to unlock exclusive shows like MinnMax Council. You can call into our podcast, you can put a picture of your choice on every MinnMax video, or you could have us plug your passion project on the MinnMax Show podcast. MinnMax is a Patreon about games, friends, and getting better, and we exist because of you. Any help telling a friend's appreciated.